The Middle East fight between Jews and Arabs. Chapter 1. The Jewish Zionist issue. The Zionists, what's that all about? If you go on BitChute, Rumble, Rents and YouTube and type in Zionists, you'll come across articles and videos that talk about a group of people from an area where Ukraine is now that used to be called Khazar. This area converted to Judaism in the old days. These people are called Khazarian or Ashkenazi Jews. Back in the Middle Ages, their king decided that if he converted to Christianity or Muslim, he would always be fighting the other group between these two, so he became Jewish along with all his people. These Khazars moved to Europe, got into banking, creating the Rothschild Bank, which spread through Europe. The Balfour Doctrine was a declaration by British Jews during World War I asking the government to grant them a homeland in Palestine, which Britain then controlled. The story is if they could get the Americans into WWI, Lord Balfour of England promised he would help them create a new country in Palestine. The Germans sunk the Lusitania. Americans got into World War I. Around 1933, a group calling themselves the World Congress of Jews or something like that started a worldwide boycott on German products. After the war, these Khazars, or European Jews, started moving to Palestine. In 1948, the United Nations granted Israel nation status. The United States recognized Israel as a nation 11 minutes later. They created the Nation of Israel with the fourth largest army in the world and a secret service called the Mossad. The best way to learn about the conflict is to go to a YouTube channel AJ and find videos about how Israel was created. The conflict between religious Jews and the leaders of Israel. There are religious Jews and Hebrew Jews whose ancestry is in the Middle East. Some of these Jews say that the Khazar Jews or Zionists went into Palestine and took it over like a bunch of thugs. They say this is not what our Jewish religion is about. People say Israel is an apartheid racist country. There is one law for Jews, another law for the lower class Palestinians. They have special roads for Jews and secondary roads for non-Jews. They don't want Jews to marry non-Jews. A way to solve the problem is to create a new country with a new name where everyone is equal. Israel has a huge political action committee, AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee in the United States, that gets loads of weapons and support from the American government. The Zionist conspiracy. The central anti-Zionists are at renzi.com. They are Jeff Renz, David Duke, Henry Makow, and Brother Nathaniel. You can find others by looking at the articles and videos Jeff posts up. They think the Jews are in a big conspiracy to take over the world because it says so in the Talmud. There is supposed to be a great calamity. The Golem or Goy, which are us white Christian folk, get swallowed up, whereupon the Jews take over. Each of them gets a few thousand of us as their slaves. The reason this doesn't work is, as Michael Tsarian said, everybody is too busy as an individual living their little lives. There is too much ego and animosity between all the players. They all want to get rich as individuals and get some sex on the side. In all fairness, I saw a video at renzi.com with several whacked out delusional rabbis on it thinking they were the bomb, that humanity, meaning the Goy, work for them. They're just several overweight ugly rabbis with nothing go for them, so they think they're part of some big divine plan. The Jews think they're the chosen people because of the Torah, which are the first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Joshua. The Talmud was written around the same time as the Quran. It's the same type of book, a couple of delusional rabbis writing crap to try to control the people. There is some pretty hateful stuff in there about non-Jews, but the average Jew barely reads it. I listened to the book of Joshua in a YouTube audiobook. God is telling these people to sacrifice animals to him, then he tells them to cross some river and kill everybody there. Any decent modern person knows this stuff is the rantings of ancient idiots. The Jews are as messed up as any other group of people. Jeffrey Epstein was probably a Mossad agent, but he was also a sex fiend trying to get laid. All this conspiracy stuff goes back to TV shows like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. In real life, people are too busy making money, getting high, eating and getting laid. AIPAC, the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee are a bunch of sleazy scoundrels trying to buy off American politicians, but that's the game in Washington. They want free weapons from America and America to back them up against those dirty Muslims. In my opinion, the Jews are the stupidest people ever. They had offers to create a homeland in Russia, Argentina, South Africa, etc. They chose to go in the middle of 50 million Arab Muslims, their mortal enemies. How stupid can you be? The world is getting tired of them with all their whining. Their only real ally is America. Once the patriotic Americans say they're tired of Jews with dual citizenship infiltrating the American government, they got nobody in the world. There are barely 17 million of them. A lot of them are gay. A lot of them are cavorting with the goy. Nobody cares about those nerdy rabbis with their idiotic holy books. They're like your weird uncle. Do whatever you want in your corner, but stay out of my face. Jeff Bezos is not hanging around with Zuckerberg of Meta or Brin from Alphabet/Google. They're probably all delusional egomaniacs with their money, trying to get laid. Jews are hanging around over there at Goldman Sachs, the Federal Reserve and the Bank for International Settlements. I think that fake monetary system should be smashed, but that's another story which I cover elsewhere in this book. Zionist websites. Benjamin H. Friedman Speech 1961, Rumble.com. Benjamin Freeman Speaks. iamthewittness.com/Friedman1974speech.html. U.S. Presidents as Zionist pawns. iamthewittness.com/Friedman-Jewish-pawns.html. RealJewNews.com. Jews Against Zionism. nkusa.org. Leo Zagami. Renzi.com/general74/satanic.htm. SaveTHMalls.ca, HenryMakow.com. JewishTribalReview.org.